summer of 2023 was longer than we would have liked from a Milwaukee Bucks basketball standpoint. But for me, it gave me time to, pour into obviously basketball, strength conditioning, things of that nature that you can't do as much of during the season, but also into all the stuff I do off the court, whether it was three-leaf in the real estate side of things, or whether it was, my foundation, the PCF, and to be able to put some time, energy, effort into building the things that I do off the court and really trying to be more than an athlete, like I kind of pride myself on being, to build for the future, to grow for the future, to start to establish, I would say, no pun intended, but the foundation of all of these things that will last far longer than my basketball career, no matter when it ends, was pretty fun. And it was something that, it was eye-opening. It wasn't, it's harder than you may think. It requires more time than you may think. It requires, obviously, learning how to lead people, almost a coach in some ways. And so it was pretty cool to be a part of it. And I had a great team around me, both on the three-leaf and the PCF side, that really helped me grow it this summer to a level that I think no one thought it could be, in its infancy still. It's expanded and grown more than I thought it would by 2023, right? I started it back in 2016, 17, and the whole premise of it was just, camps and clinics, like the things that a lot of NBA guys do in the summer to help make an extra, pocket change for them. I wanted to do that, but to give back to the people and places that kind of helped get me here. I wanted to donate all the money that was raised from those camps and clinics. And being a guy that has an affinity for business, I thought what would be the best way to do it? And it would be start a 501c3, nonprofit, donate it all to that, and then be able to have an impact on different areas with that money. And so that's kind of how it started. That's what it kind of did for the first 3 years, and we grew it, and the camps grew. It went from having 50, 60 kids to 100, 120 to now 180 plus kids at most of them. And what we saw was the camps and clinics were great, but with the NBA season, I can't do those all the time, right? I can do 2, 3, 4 of them. This year we did 9 of them in a calendar year, but how do we have more of a sustained impact, and how do we really impact these next generation of student athletes' lives on an even another level? And that's where Connaughton Courts came from. We can find places, just like a place I grew up in back home in Arlington, Massachusetts, Fidelity House. It's like a boys and girls club where, these kids can go after school. They're taught more than just basketball, but the court is a symbol. The court is utilized for other sports and activities, for a volunteer club, for education, like things that will take a holistic approach to these kids' lives and help keep them out of trouble and things of that nature. And the impact that Fidelity House had on me is really what kind of sparked the idea behind Connaughton Courts. What can a court really do for that next generation of student athlete, and what can it really symbolize? And so we started with my high school back home at St. John's Prep, and then we quickly, because I became a Milwaukee Buck, really tried to focus here in Milwaukee on how we could really grow and scale the Connaughton Courts side of the foundation to have the biggest impact that it could on the most amount of youth student athletes that it could. And we'll be up to 7 courts by the end of this year. We just launched our court application program that will now start to have a little bit more of a consistent cadence with when community centers, schools, anybody can kind of apply for a court. We'll start to grow into more indoor and outdoor courts because of the impact those can have throughout at least the nice months here in the Midwest, but in other places. And going over to Ireland was the start of doing it internationally, right? Like same type of thing. We did 3 clinics over there. We'll look to try to find courts that we can do over there, because the kids can really utilize those courts on a 365-day basis, as opposed to the clinics that you can get 9 of them done in a year.